The goal of Asha Sanctuary is to show people that these animals are no different than dogs and cats, that they have the same emotions, that they want to feel good, they want to feel loved, they want to give love, that they're fun to be around. And so people can just emotionally connect with these animals.
Chances are, you're not going to see a happier bunch of farm animals than an Asha Sanctuary, a humble farm animal abode off Crumer Road in Newfane, Western New York, New York. It's proudly owned by this woman here, Tracy Murphy. Tracy left her job as the Assistant Vice President of HSBC to found her modest sanctuary on the basis of local fundraising from similarly compassionate people.
I had nothing. We had nothing. An old garage, that's it. So by fundraising, we were able to build our first hen house.
With the hen house built, Tracy was able to start housing some chickens and turkeys. From there, she found Albert, the silliest cereal ever meet, then her sheep, Tracy and Anu, and the donkeys, Lindsay and Dawn.
When we got Lindsay and Dawn, they were completely covered with feces as hard as rock. So if you see this rock here, imagine this hard rock being throughout her whole body and legs.
Unfortunately, Lindsay and Dawn weren't the only two animals to be found in such a state.
When Albert and Tracy and Anu arrived here, Albert was 1 day old. He had been taken away from his mother, and that's what happens in the dairy industry. So what happened is we found Albert at an auction house, and he was only a day old, he could barely walk, he was falling down, he was crying, he was shivering, he was sick, and we got him out of that situation. We brought him here to Asha Sanctuary and nursed him around the clock. And these are basically their Christmas gifts. Their favorite gifts are food. They love food. We had 2 sheep that we rescued along with Albert, and they had hoof rot. That is a really severe infection of their hoofs. So bad they were at their knees. They couldn't walk, they were in extreme pain. So what we had to do is we gave them some antibiotics, we cleaned out their hooves. They're both doing great. They run around and they play and they don't suffer, they have fun. So these are the kind of conditions when we rescue animals that they're coming from.
These aren't special cases either. The livestock processing industry for the longest time has been treating animals inhumanely and with some of the most despicable living conditions imaginable. Chickens, for example, are kept in what's known as battery cages, named for their likeness to rows of battery cells. These are wire cages whose floors are smaller than a piece of standard printer paper, where 95% of laying hens spend their entire lives. Because these cages pack in roughly 5 to 10 birds each, chickens often become irritated to the point of violently pecking at one another. To amend this, farmers will remove the chicken's beak with a hot iron blade. Some chickens aren't even lucky enough for it to be hot.
The hens, they can't spread their wings, they go crazy, and so what they do is they'll start pecking at each other because they're just in a confined situation. I mean, you've been here at Asha Sanctuary, and I don't think you experience any of the hens pecking at each other because they have open spaces.
The dairy industry is just as brutal. Female cows are often forced to go through an endless cycle of impregnation, birth, and milking without rest until they're slaughtered for meat just 5 years after their birth. This is while the average life expectancy of a healthy cow is 20. Once baby cows are born, they're immediately taken from their mothers, most likely to become sick, lose weight from not eating, and cry so much that their throats become damaged. But we don't care, because we don't eat the throat part. But that's just a few examples. Farmed pigs are just as confined as chickens and live the same impregnation and birth cycle as cows. Turkeys spend their lives in stale air on diets of steroids and hormones to promote extreme growth. And this doesn't even go into the odds and ends of lesser farmed animals in America, such as donkeys and horses.
They were confined to a 10 by 10 stall, and they really didn't have a lot of open space to roam around. At Asha Sanctuary, when they came here, they were so happy. They ran into the pasture and they literally threw their backs to the ground and started rubbing in the dirt. And they knew that everything was going to be okay. And now they're just happy. I love you so much.
If I could spread one message, maybe it would be that I think everyone already agrees that the treatment of animals in factory farms and even on smaller scale farms is wrong, and it's wrong to inflict unnecessary pain. But I would also like to tell people that it's actually really easy once you get started eating a vegan diet.
Well, come to Asha Sanctuary to see for yourself what we're all about. And if you are even thinking about veganism, or even if you're not, just ask questions. You know, we talk about it. We talk about cruelty to animals. We talk about factory farming, and ask questions and come and see why that matters, and find a community of people who believe what you believe too, and that will help you.
We had, our summer kickoff party, which was Kiss a Cow Day, and people got to come and actually meet all the animals, and they got to kiss Albert. He was the main attraction. He was the star.